automakers a really sort of sticking point for China and Europe and Germany.
This battery basically takes one of the biggest anti-EV arguments people have been.
China launched a new sodium EV battery with no lithium, and Canada is in shock. Why? Because Canada sits on enough raw sodium to supply the entire global battery industry for a century. And somehow, the car it powers costs $15,000, and Canadians can't buy one. So how did Canada accidentally hand China the keys to the most important battery in 50 years? The part that should genuinely bother you. Here's what's wild about where the sodium battery story actually starts. It doesn't start in Shenzhen. It doesn't start in a CATL lab. It starts in Canada in the year 2000, when two researchers figured out something that went against everything the battery industry had assumed for 3 decades. Every breakthrough before theirs chased order, cleaner crystals, tighter atomic structure, perfect geometry. These two went the complete opposite direction and built a carbon material that was deliberately, intentionally chaotic, riddled with irregular gaps and disordered pockets at the atomic level. And those gaps were exactly the right size and shape for sodium ions to sit inside without tearing the structure apart after 1,000 cycles. They called it hard carbon. And it was the exact missing piece that sodium batteries had needed since Ford built the world's very first sodium battery back in 1966. Canada cracked it. Canada has the raw deposits. Canada has the winters. So what happened? Why is the company that turned that discovery into a commercial product a Chinese one? And why is a $15,000 car built on a Canadian breakthrough currently for sale on the other side of the world, while Canadians are still paying 60 grand for a lithium EV that loses 1/3 of its range in January? That question is the whole story. And the answer starts with a problem hidden inside the discovery itself. The wall that held for 25 years. Here's what the hard carbon papers didn't solve. That same disordered structure that made room for sodium ions also made the material behave like a sponge for atmospheric moisture, and even a microscopic trace of water inside a working battery cell reacts with the electrolyte, generates gas, builds pressure, and destroys the cell from the inside out. In a controlled lab setting, you can manage that. In a factory producing millions of cells bound for cars being driven through Canadian winters, Norwegian coastlines, and Brazilian humidity, that problem is a wall. And it held for 25 straight years after the discovery, which is exactly why every sodium program that followed kept hitting the same ceiling and walking away. So who finally knocked the wall down? CATL, the Chinese company whose batteries currently power Teslas, BMWs, Fords, and Mercedes vehicles, globally decided in 2021 to spend $1.5 billion and a decade of focused materials research on solving the exact problem everyone else had walked away from. They chemically modified the surface of every hard carbon particle to actively repel moisture instead of absorbing it. They locked down humidity on their production lines to levels that most battery factories have never even bothered measuring. The sponge stopped drinking, and the 25-year wall came down with it. Now here's what all of that actually produced, because this is where the numbers get genuinely alarming. The number that breaks EV pricing completely. CATL's new Naxtra sodium battery is hitting a manufacturing cost of $39 per kilowatt hour at commercial scale. Lithium iron phosphate, the cheapest lithium chemistry in mass production today, sits at around $80 per kilowatt hour. That's not a slight discount. That is cutting the cost of the single most expensive component in any electric vehicle roughly in half, and what that does to the sticker price of a car is exactly as dramatic as it sounds. The Chang'an Nevo A06, the first real production sedan running the Naxtra battery, launched in China at under $15,000. Not a stripped-out penalty box either. A proper fastback with a massive floating touchscreen, full digital instruments, voice-controlled AI, Level 2 autonomous driving as standard, and soft touch materials throughout the cabin. The kind of interior that would embarrass a $35,000 European hatchback. And it runs on 0 lithium, 0 cobalt, 0 nickel anywhere in the pack, which matters for reasons that go way beyond price. But wait! Because the cost story isn't even close to the most important thing this battery does. And if you live anywhere in Canada, the next part is the one that should actually make you furious. What -40 does to your lithium EV and why sodium doesn't care. Every Canadian EV driver already knows the feeling. Temperature drops hard overnight, you walk out in the morning, and the range estimate is showing you a number 20, 30, sometimes 40% lower than it was when you plugged in the night before. Nothing broke. The battery didn't malfunction. Coal just does that to lithium chemistry, because when temperatures fall, lithium ions can't move through the electrolyte efficiently enough, and the battery management system quietly throttles the whole thing to protect the cells. You're losing range you paid for, and you just have to live with it until spring. At -40 Celsius, which isn't a hypothetical, it's a regular October morning in Edmonton, Winnipeg, and Saskatoon. The Naxtra retains 90% of its full charge capacity. A lithium iron phosphate battery at that same temperature holds about 60%. That's a 30 percentage point gap. And it isn't a marginal improvement in some lab metric nobody cares about. It's the difference between an EV that actually works for 12 months of the year and one that spends half of them underperforming while you mentally subtract range before every winter trip. Sodium ions move more freely at low temperatures than lithium ions do. And that's not an engineering workaround CATL invented. It's a fundamental property of the chemistry that's been true from the beginning, just waiting for the rest of the technology to finally catch up. And then CATL decided to prove it by trying to physically destroy the battery on camera. They crushed it, drilled into it, drove steel nails through it, and sawed it completely in half. Tests that cause most lithium batteries to catch fire, sometimes explosively. The Naxtra, after being sawed fully in half, didn't just survive without catching fire. It kept powering a light bulb. A battery cut in two, still working, no smoke, no flame, no thermal runaway. That's not a marketing stunt. That's sodium's chemistry being exactly as thermally stable as its molecular structure always promised it would be, the moment someone finally built it properly. But here's the number that made the entire Western battery industry go very quiet. And it's not the cost or the cold weather performance. 10,000 cycles. And the thing it means for your wallet, your current EV's lithium battery is rated for somewhere between 2,000 and 4,000 charge cycles before meaningful capacity loss kicks in. Charge it daily, and you're looking at a battery replacement conversation somewhere between year 8 and year 12. And that bill can run anywhere from $5,000 on the low end to $20,000 on the high end, which is the kind of number that makes you wonder why you didn't just keep the Honda. The Naxtra is rated for more than 10,000 full charge cycles. Charge it every single day without missing one, and it's still performing reliably 27 years from now. That's longer than most people own their house. CATL didn't build a better EV battery. They built a battery that will statistically outlive the car it's sitting inside, and that completely rewrites every long-term cost argument anyone has ever made against switching to electric. And the raw material underneath all of this? Sodium carbonate trades at around $150 per metric ton and has never once spiked in price. Compare that to lithium carbonate, which went up by a factor of 13 in just 24 months between 2020 and 2022, then crashed 70% the following year. The commodity that the entire Western EV industry built its cost projections around behaved like a meme stock for 4 straight years. Sodium is table salt. You can't create a geopolitical crisis over table salt. And Canada has some of the largest soda ash deposits on Earth, sitting in its own backyard, completely untouched, irrelevant to an industry that never came to collect on them. So where exactly does that leave Canada in this race? Because this is where it gets genuinely uncomfortable. The scoreboard and why it's not trending the right way. The US had exactly one company seriously pursuing sodium ion at commercial scale. In September 2025, it shut both its manufacturing facilities, canceled a planned $1.4 billion factory, and disappeared from the race entirely. Not restructured, not acquired, just gone. And LG Energy Solution, the South Korean company supplying battery cells to Volkswagen and General Motors, meaning the batteries going into EVs at Canadian dealerships right now, didn't build its sodium pilot facility in Korea or North America. It went to Nanjing, China, and signed a materials deal before the doors even opened. The company powering North America's biggest automakers looked at the sodium race, calculated where the knowledge and supply chain actually lived, and decided China was the only place to be. That single decision tells you more about the state of this competition than anything any Western government has said publicly about it. China currently has more than 42 active sodium expansion projects running simultaneously. The global sodium-ion market is projected to grow from $1.4 billion in 2025 to nearly $7 billion by 2034. And China is on track to hold more than 90% of total global manufacturing capacity by 2033. This isn't a technology China is developing. It's a technology China has already won and is now scaling at a pace that has no equivalent in the Western industrial landscape. And here's the version of this story that should stick with you after this video ends. Canada discovered the hard carbon material that makes sodium batteries work. Canada has the soda ash deposits to supply the raw material cheaply. Canada has 9 months of real winter across half its provinces, the exact operating environment where sodium doesn't just beat lithium, it exposes every weakness lithium has ever had, and Canadian buyers are sitting behind tariff walls, paying near American prices for lithium EVs, completely locked out of a $15,000 car built on a breakthrough their own country handed to the world for free in the year 2000. The irony isn't that China built something Canada couldn't, it's that Canada unlocked the door, walked away, and is now watching from the outside while someone else lives in the house. The affordable, winter-proof, lithium-free EV era isn't something that's coming for most of the world. It's already here. The question is just how long it takes to get through the wall we built around ourselves.